Welcome back, YouTube. Sensei Domino here. Today I'm going to be showing the 1987 Topps Baseball Complete set. This set is loaded with star rookie cards including Barry Bonds, Bo Jackson, Rafael Palmeiro, Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell, second-year cards of Jose Canseco and Mark McGwire. Definitely a loaded set, although it is junk wax, so the cards aren't really worth a whole lot. But I love this set because this set came out during my, I guess, second full year of collecting, and so there's a lot of nostalgia with this. And anyway, let's go ahead and get started. As usual, I'll show the fronts and the backs of the first few cards, then just show the front so the video isn't too long. All right, we'll go ahead and start with the record breakers. Got Roger Clemens right here. Jim Deshaies. Dwight Evans. Davey Lopes. Dave Righetti. Ruben Sierra. Todd Worrell. Terry Pendleton. Jay Tibbs. Cecil Cooper. Indians leaders. Jeff Sellers. Nick Asaski. Dave Stewart. Claudell Washington. Pat Clements. Pete O'Brien. Dick Hauser. Matt Young. Hall of Famer Gary Carter. Mark Davis. Doug DeCinces. Hall of Famer Lee Smith. Tony Walker. Hall of Famer Burt Blyleven. Greg Brock. Joe Cowley. Rick Dempsey. Jimmy Key. Hall of Famer Tim Raines. Braves leaders. Tim Leary. Andy Van Slyke. Jose Rio. Sid Breen. Eric King. Marvell Wynn. Dennis Leonard. Marty Barrett, Dave Righetti, Bo Diaz, Gary Reedus, Gene Michael, Greg Harris, Jim Presley, Danny Gladden, Dennis Powell, Wally Backman, Terry Harper, Dave Smith, Mel Hall, Keith Atherton, Rupert Jones, Bill Dolly, Tim Wallach. Another thing I like about this set is they use the wood borders, which 1987 was actually the 25th anniversary of the first time Topps used the wood borders, which is 1962. So I guess this is sort of an homage to that set. Brewers leaders: Scott Nielsen, Thad Bosley. Sorry about the focus. Ken Daly, Tony Pena, Big Pen rookie, Bobby Meacham, Fred Tolliver, Harry Spillman, Tom Browning, Mark Sullivan, Bill Swift, Hall of Famer Tony La Russa, Lonnie Smith, Charlie Huff, Mike Aldretti, Walt Terrell, Dave Anderson, Dan Pasqua, Ron Darling, Rafael Ramirez, Brian Oelkers, Tom Foley, Juan Nieves, Wally Joyner rookie, Padres leaders, Rob Murphy, Mike Davis, Steve Lake, Kevin Bass, Nate Snell, Mark Salas, Ed Wojna, Ozzie Guillen, Dave Stieb, Harold Reynolds, Urbano Lugo, Jim Leland rookie, Calvin Schiraldi, Oda B. McDowell, Frank Williams, Glenn Wilson, Bill Scherer, Darryl Motley, Steve Garvey. Go ahead and clear these cards off real quick. Carl Willis, Paul Zabella, Rick Aguilera, Billy Sample, Floyd Yeomans, Blue Jays leaders, John Butcher, Jim Gantner, R.J. Reynolds, John Tudor, Alfredo Griffin, Alan Ashby, Neil Allen, Billy Bean, Donnie Moore, Bill Russell, Jim Beattie, Bobby Valentine, Ron Robinson, Hall of Famer Eddie Murray, Kevin Romine, Jim Clancy, John Kruk rookie, Ray Fontenot, Bob Brenly, Mike Lloyd, Vance Law, checklist, Rick Cerrone, Dwight Gooden, Pirates leaders, Paul Ossenmacher, Jose Oquendo, Rich Yett, Mike Easler, Ron Romanek, Jerry Willard, Roy Lee Jackson, Rod Saberhagen, Herm Winningham, Rick Sutcliffe, Steve Boros, Mike Scioscia, Charlie Kerfeld, Tracy Jones, Randy Neiman, Dave Collins, Ray Sarich, Hall of Famer Wade Boggs, Mike Lacoste, Toby Harrah, Dwayne Ward, Tom O'Malley, Ed Whitson, Mariners leaders, Danny Darwin, Tim Tuffle, Ed Olwin, it's a great image right here, Julio Franco in his iconic batting stance, Steve Ontiveros, Mike LaValliere, Kevin Gross, Sammy Khalifa, Jeff Reardon, Bob Boone, Jim Deshaies, Lou Piniella, Ron Washington. Always love this card. Bo Jackson rookie. Just love the backdrop. Just a great image right there. Show the back. Great card. Chuck Carey, Ron Oster, Alex Trevino, Henry Cotto, Bob Stanley, Steve Buechele, Keith Moreland, Cecil Fielder, Bill Wegman, Chris Brown, Cardinals leaders, Lee Lacy, Andy Hawkins, Bobby Bonilla rookie, Roger McDowell, Bruce Benedict, Mark Weissman, Tony Phillips, Joe Hesketh, Sundberg, Charles Hudson, Corey Snyder, Roger Craig, Kirk McCaskill, Mike Pagliarulo, Randy O'Neal, Mark Bailey, Lee Mazzilli, Mariano Duncan, and the great Pete Rose. I believe this is his last playing days card because I think his 88 card is just the manager card. Let me go ahead and clear off this stack real quick. Right, next we have John Cangelosi, Ricky Wright, Mike Kingery, Sammy Stewart, Greg Nettles, Twins leaders, George Frazier, John Shelby, Rick Shue, Lloyd Mosby, John Morris, Mike Fitzgerald, Randy Myers rookie, Omar Moreno, Mark Langston, BJ Surhoff rookie, Chris Cotteroli, Sparky Anderson, Hall of Famer, Cecilio Guante, Joe Carter, Vern Rule, Denny Walling, Charlie Lee Brandt, Wayne Tollefson, Mike Smithson, Max Venable, Jamie Moyer rookie, Curtis Wilkerson, Mike Birkbeck, Don Baylor, Giants leaders, Reggie Williams, Russ Moorman, Pat Sheridan, Alvin Davis, Tommy John, Jim Morrison, Bill Kruger, Juan Espino, Steve Balboni, Danny Heap, Rick Mailer, Hall of Famer Whitey Herzog, Dickie Knowles, Upshaw, Jim Dwyer, Jeff Reed, Gene Walter, Jim Pankovitz, Teddy Higuera, Rob Wilfong, Denny Martinez, Eddie Milner, Bob Tewksbury rookie, Juan Samuel, Royals leaders, looks like George Brett and Frank White, Bob Forsch, Steve Yeager, Mike Greenwell rookie, Vida Blue, Ruben Sierra rookie, Jim Wynn, Stan Javier, checklist, Darrell Evans, Jeff Hamilton, Howard Johnson, Pat Corrales, Cliff Speck, Jody Davis, Mike Brown, Andres Galarraga, Gene Nelson, Jeff Herron, Lamar Hoyt, Jackie Gutierrez, Juan Augusto, Gary Pettis, Dan Plesac rookie, Jeffrey Leonard, Reds leaders, you can see Pete Rose right there, Jeff Calhoun, Doug Drabek rookie, John Moses, Dennis Oil Can Boyd, Mike Woodard, Dave Von Olin, Tito Landrum, Bob Kipper, Leon Durham, Mitch Williams rookie, Franklin Stubbs, Bob Rogers, Steve Jeltz, Lenny Dykstra, Andres Thomas, Don Schultz, Larry Herndon, Joel Davis, Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson. Sorry about the focus. clear these off. Luis Aquino, Bill Schroeder, Juan Berenguer, Phil Garner, John Franco, Red Sox leaders, Lee Guterman, Don Slott, Mike Young, Frank Viola. Got some turn back the clocks here. Ricky Henderson, Reggie Jackson, Roberto Clemente. Definitely have to get this card in my collection. Carl Yastrzemski, Maury Wills. Next we have Brian Fisher, Clint Hurdle, Jim Fregosi, Greg Swindell, rookie, and the Barry Bonds rookie. Mike Laga, Chris Bando, Al Newman, Dave Palmer, Gary Templeton, Mark Gubicza, Dale Swaim, rookie, Bob Welsh. It's funny as I'm going through these, I'm noticing some cards that were like super hot when this first came out, like the B.J. Surhoff earlier. Just now the Dale Swaim, Mike Greenwell at one time, and now, now they're essentially, commons. Ron Renicky, Mike Scott, the Mets leaders, Strawberry and Gary Carter, Keith Hernandez sort of in the corner there, Joe Price. Let me move this camera down a little bit. That focus is getting annoying. Hopefully that helps a little. Got Ken Phelps, Ed Correa, Candy Maldonado, Alan Anderson, Daryl Miller, Tim Conroy. Seems to be helping a little. Donnie Hill, Roger Clemens, Mike Brown, Bob James, Hal Lanier, Joe Negro, Hall of Famer Andre Dawson, Sean Dunston, Ricky Brantley, Carmelo Martinez, Storm Davis, Keith Hernandez, Gene Garber, Mike Felder, Ernie Camacho, Jamie Quirk, Don Carmen, White Sox leaders, Steve Firovid, Sal Butera, Doug Corbett, Pedro Guerrero, Mark Thurmond, Luis Quinones, Jose Guzman, Randy Bush, Rick Rhoden, Mark McGuire, Jeff Leahy, John McNamara, Brian Thayet, Fred Lynn, Mark Eichhorn, Jerry Mumphrey, Jeff Dedman, Glenn Hoffman, Ron Guidry, Scott Bradley, John Henry Johnson, Rafael Santana, John Russell, Hall of Famer Goose Gossage, Expos leaders, Rudy Law, Ron Davis, Johnny Grubb, Oral Hershiser, Dickie Thon, T.R. Bryden, Gino Petralli, Jeff Robinson, Gary Matthews, Jay Howell, Checklist, Pete Rose manager card, Mike Bilecki, Damaso Garcia, Tim Lawler, Greg Walker, Brad Havens, Kurt Ford, Hall of Famer George Brett. Clear these off real quick. Next, we have Billy Joe Robideau, Mike Trujillo, Jerry Royster, Doug Sisk, Brooke Jacoby, Yankees leaders with Ricky Henderson, and that might be Don Mattingly too. Jim Acker, John Miserock, Milt Thompson, Fernando Valenzuela, Darnell Coles, Eric Davis, Moose Haas, Joe Orsulak, Bobby Witt, Tom Nito, Pat Perry, Hall of Famer Dick Williams, Mark Portugal, Will Clark rookie, Jose De Leon, Jack Howell, Jamie Kokenauer, Chris Spire, Hall of Famer Tom Seaver, Floyd Rayford, Ed Nunez, future Hall of Famer Bruce Bochy, Tim Pisnarski, Hall of Famer Mike Schmidt, Dodgers leaders, Jim Slayton, Ed Hearn, Mike Fichlin, Hall of Famer Bruce Sutter, Andy Allenson, Ted Power, Kelly Downs, Carl Best, Willie McGee, Dave Leeper, Mitch Webster, John Felsky, Jeff Russell, Davey Lopes, Chuck Finley rookie, Bill Allman, Chris Bosio, Pat Dodson, Kirby Puckett, Joe Sambito, Dave Henderson, Scott Terry, Luis Salazar, Mike Boddicker, A's leaders, Len Matusik, Kelly Gruber, Dennis Eckersley, Darryl Strawberry, Craig McMurtry, Scott Fletcher, Tom Candiotti, Butch Weiniger, Todd Worrell, Cal Daniels, Randy St. Clair, George Bamberger, Mike Diaz, Dave Dravecki, Ron Reynolds, Bill Doran, Steve Farr, Jerry Narin, Scott Gereltz, Danny Tartable, Ken Howell, Tim Laudner, Bob Sebra, Hall of Famer Jim Rice, Phillies leaders, Darrell Boston, Dwight Lowry, Jim Traber, Tony Fernandez, Otis Nixon, Dave Gumbert, Ray Knight, Bill Gullickson, Dale Murphy, Ron Karkovice, Mike Heath, Hall of Famer Tom Lasorda, Barry Jones, Gorman Thomas, Bruce Bochy, Dale Mahorsic, Bob Kearney, Bruce Ruffin, Don Mattingly. Go ahead and clear these off. Got Craig Lefferts, Dick Schofield, Larry Anderson, Mickey Hatcher, Bryn Smith, Orioles leaders, Dave Stapleton, Scott Bankhead, Enos Cabell, Tom Hankey, Steve Lyons, Dave Magadan rookie, Carmen Castillo, Orlando Mercado, Willie Hernandez, Ted Simmons, Hall of Famer, Mario Soto, Gene Mauch, Kurt Young, Jack Clark, Rick Russell, Checklist, Ernie Riles, Bob Shirley, Phil Bradley, Roger Mason, Jim Wolford, Ken Dixon, Alvaro Espinoza, Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn, Astros leaders, and right there in the center is Yogi Berra, Jeff Stone, Argenis Salazar, Scott Sanderson, Tony Armas, Terry Mulholland, Rance Mullenix, Tom Niedenfuer, Reed Nichols, Terry Kennedy, Rafael Belliard, Ricky Horton, Dave Johnson, Zane Smith, Buddy Bell, Mike Morgan, Rob Deere, Bill Mooneyham, Bob Melvin, Pete Incaviglia rookie, Frank Wills, Larry Sheets, Mike Maddox, I believe this is his rookie, Buddy Biancalana, sorry, Dennis Rasmussen, Angels leaders, John Cerruti, Greg Gagne, Lance McCullers, Glenn Davis, Ray Quinones, Brian Clutterbuck, John Stefero, Larry McWilliams, soon-to-be Hall of Famer Dusty Baker, Tim Hewlett, Greg Matthews, Hall of Famer Earl Weaver, Wade Roden, Sid Fernandez, Ozzie Virgil, Pete Ladd, Pastore, Dan Billardello, Billy Hatcher, Rick Burleson, Mike Krukow, Cubs leaders, Bruce Berenyi, Junior Ortiz, Ron Kittle, Scott Bales. Focus is acting up again. Ben Oglivie, Eric Plunk, Wallace Johnson, Steve Crawford, Vince Coleman, Spike Owen, Chris Welsh, Chuck Tanner, Rick Anderson. Now we're coming up on the All-Stars. Keith Hernandez. Quickly show you the back of this one. Got Steve Sachs. Mike Schmidt. Adjust the camera one more time. Try to get it a little lower. Maybe that'll help. Ozzie Smith. Tony Gwynn. Newly, soon to be inducted Hall of Famer Dave Parker. Rest in peace. Go ahead and clear these off. Got Darryl Strawberry. Gary Carter. Dwight Gooden. That seems to be working much better. Fernando Valenzuela. Todd Worrell. Don Mattingly. Tony Bernazard. Wade Boggs. Cal Ripken Jr. Jim Rice. Kirby Puckett, Hall of Famer. George Bell. Lance Parrish. Roger Clemens. Teddy Higuera. Dave Rigetti. Next we have Al Nipper. Tom Kelly. Jerry Reed. Jose Canseco. Danny Cox. Glenn Braggs. Kurt Stillwell. Tim Burke. Mookie Wilson. Joel Skinner. Ken Oberkfell, Bob Block, Larry Parrish, John Candelaria, Tigers leaders, Rob Woodward, Jose Uribe, Rafael Palmeiro rookie, Ken Schramm, Darren Dalton, Bip Roberts rookie, Rich Bordy, Gerald Perry, Mark Clear, Domingo Ramos, Al Polito, Ron Shepard, John Denny, Dwight Evans, Mike Mason, Tom Lawless, there's a Hall of Fame rookie card, Barry Larkin, Mickey Tettleton, Hubie Brooks, Benny DiStefano, sorry, Terry Forster. I always love this image. Kevin Mitchell, rookie. Him sliding into home. It's just a great image. Checklist. Jesse Barfield. Rangers leaders. Tom Waddell. Robbie Thompson. Aurelio Lopez. Bob Horner. Should be Hall of Famer Sweet Lou Whitaker. Frank DiPino. Cliff Johnson. Mike Marshall. Rod Scurry. Von Hayes. Ron Hassey. Juan Bonilla. Bud Black. Jose Cruz. Ray Soff. Chili Davis. Hall of Famer Don Sutton. Bill Campbell. Ed Romero. Charlie Moore. Bobby Grich. Carney Lansford. Always like this image as well. Kent Herbeck. Hall of Famer Ryan Sandberg. George Bell. Jerry Royce. Gary Renicky. McCulvey, Jerry Hairston, Doyle Alexander, Hall of Famer Alan Trammell, Ron Beniquez, Darrell Porter, Dane Orge, Hall of Famer Dave Parker, Frank White, Terry Poole, Hall of Famer Phil Niekro, Chico Walker, Gary Lucas. I know Maiden loves this card. Ed Lynch. Ernie Witt. Ken Landreau. Dave Bergman. Go ahead and clear these off. This is the last stack. Willie Randolph, Greg Gross, Dave Schmidt, Jesse Orozco, Bruce Hurst, Rick Manning, Bob McClure, Scott McGregor, Dave Kingman, Gary Gaetti, Ken Griffey, Don Robinson, Tom Brookins, Dan Quisenberry, Bob Dernier, Rick Leach, Ed Vandenberg, Hall of Famer Steve Carlton, Tom Hume, Richard Dotson, Tommy Herr, Bob Nepper, Brett Butler, Greg Minton, George Hendrick, Frank Tanana, Mike Moore, Tippy Martinez, Tom Paciorek, Eric Shao, another cool image, Dave Concepcion, Manny Trio, Bill Cotto, Bill Madlock, Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson, rest in peace, Steve Bedrosian, Floyd Bannister, George Orta, Chet Lemon, Rich Gedman, Hall of Famer Paul Molitor, Andy McGaffigan, Dwayne Murphy, Roy Smalley, Glenn Hubbard, Bob Ojeda, Johnny Ray, Mike Flanagan, Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith, Steve Trout, Garth Orge, Dan Petrie, Rick Honeycutt, Dave LaPointe, Luis Aguayo, Hall of Famer Carlton Fisk, Hall of Famer Nolan Ryan, Tony Bernazard, Joel Youngblood, Mike Witt, Greg Pryor, Gary Ward, Tim Flannery, Bill Buckner, Kirk Gibson, Don Ossie, Ron Say, Dennis Lamp, Steve Sachs, Hall of Famer Dave Winfield, Shane Raleigh, Hall of Famer Harold Baines, Hall of Famer Robin Yount, Wayne Krenchicki, how do you say that? Joaquin Andujar, Tom Bernansky, Chris Chambliss, Hall of Famer Jack Morris. Closing out on the last few cards, Craig Reynolds. Hopefully you've enjoyed seeing this set. Andre Thornton, Atlee Hammaker, Brian Downing, Willie Wilson, Hall of Famer Cal Ripken Jr., future Hall of Famer Terry Francona, Jimmy Williams, Alejandro Pena, Tim Stoddard, Dan Schatzeder, Julio Cruz, Lance Parrish, and the final card of the set, the last checklist. So that's all I have for you today. Till next time, thanks for watching the video, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.